has to hang off the side, stretches the hip flexor a little, and the hip flexor is kind of connected to the muscles in this area. Is contract my tricep really slow and bring it down really slow so that the kettlebell doesn't flail around. So for today's workout, I feel pretty fatigued from the intense cardio and the heavy lifting over the past couple of days. So I'm going to do something fairly light to start off and then see if my endorphins kick in and then I want to do anything more. But at least for right now, I'm doing arms, starting off with alternate tricep pushdowns on the cable. I like to use these as like both a warm-up, but also, I don't know, something about doing high rep tricep extensions or tricep pushdowns on a cable allows me to like really connect with the triceps and really force a lot of blood into it. And my belief is that for the most part, as far as shaping the muscles go, it's I guess a pump equation. So how good of a pump that you can get into the different areas of your tricep and how much you're able to mentally connect with it. But the overall mass of your body is going to be determined by heavy lifts. So when I do stuff where I'm doing arms, I'm not like opposed to going light and doing like 30-40 reps. If that's what gives me a good squeeze and a good pump, it is what it is. But if I'm like, I think the mass builders are stuff like heavy deadlifts, heavy farmer walks, heavy sled, heavy squat, heavy movements like that. But when doing stuff like arms focused or arms isolation, I just prefer going light and forcing a lot of blood into the triceps. Supersetting that with hammer curls. I'm a big fan of supersetting push and pull or bis and tris or antagonistic muscles. I find that I get a really good pump when I do supersets where the antagonistic muscle groups are worked. So here, triceps was the initial muscle group being worked, and then immediately after that, moving into biceps. I'm going to do about maybe 8 to 10 sets of that back to back, get a really good pump in, and then let's see what happens next. So for the next arm movement, I'm using a rope grip. For the rope grip, I use a rope grip usually to target the long head of the tricep, and I'm also able to like twist it, which actually allows me to get a deeper squeeze, and the squeeze almost hits all heads of the tricep. So the stretch part of it is for the long head, but then the ending squeeze allows me to target all the heads of it. Anyway, I'm using a bench to kind of hold me in place, and then I'm doing alternate tricep extensions. This way, I don't really have to focus on bracing myself as I would in a standing version of this, and I'm able to exclusively lift the weight with just the tricep and overload it. uh, supersetting that with alternate um, kettlebell curls. I'm going for 10. When doing the curls, I'm also doing this thing where the hand that's not curling, I'm kind of pushing it back. I read somewhere that it helps increase the force output of the other bicep, or the bicep that's working. Something about pushing the hand back, but I don't know, feels kind of the same to me. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next. Probably gonna do 4 to 5 sets of that. This was my second set, no, third. So after doing about 15, I think it was more like 20 sets of arms, but it was just 2 supersets. I just spammed a lot of them. So kind of want to do some chest and back now. Stuff on the cable just to kind of like, at least in my opinion, doing stuff on the cable with a really nice squeeze is what gives you striations in the muscles when you're really lean. So first off, you have to be really lean, but I think on top of being lean, if you do like these really squeezy, stretchy type movements where you can hold and feel the squeeze for a second, especially on the cable, that exaggerates the striated look, at least in my opinion. So I want to build a really good Christmas tree. So that's the lower part of the back. It's kind of like the six-pack of the back. And yeah, so this is the movement I'm doing for that. It's a chest-supported row. So I'm gonna use individual cables to be able to isolate each side. Then the other thing I want you guys to notice is I'm keeping my heels on the floor. So it's kind of like I'm in a squat position. This forces the glutes to be engaged, which kind of tugs on the lower part of the back, which stretches out the lower part of the back, which allows you for a, I guess, deeper contraction and also a better stretch in the lower area of the back. How many times did I say lower area of the back? But this is what the movement looks like. I'm doing alternated so that I can maintain the squeeze. And the squeeze is kind of what I believe gives you the better striated look. It also mimics flexing. Like if you had to flex your back muscles, this is what it would feel like, except this is with resistance. No real rep count, just trying to hit failure. And then after doing a bunch alternated, I'm going to try and burn them out with dual arms. But yeah, I'm already exhausted, so I'm just going to do a bunch of half reps. So, like I was mentioning earlier, I like to superset antagonistic muscles. So the antagonist to the back is the chest. And so I'm going to do some chest flies, but I'm going to show you some benefits, or at least, I don't know, benefits is a weird word. These are some pros of doing it in this way. So with having a backrest, I'm able to just kind of let my body open up and let the cable pull my chest open. If you have a tight chest or like a shoulder that wants to roll forward or something, this will really help open it up. And I'm really feeling the pull here and holding it here for not just a second, for a really long time. And then come. Oh. So I've mentioned this in earlier videos, but I really think the biggest key to getting a lot of like a wide chest is to do these super outstretched flies. Like, forget a bent hand position. Like, if you want to build strength in your triceps or in your chest, just do bench presses or dumbbell presses. But if you really want to like shape your chest, I'd say do your flies and really focus on not the weight, but being able to outstretch the chest like this and press and complete the flies. You won't be able to go super heavy. Like, you don't have to, like this, I'm doing like 7.5 pounds, I think, on the cable on each hand. And it's still 7.5, or I don't know if it's 7.5 kilos or pounds, but either way, it's kicking my butt. And at least in my opinion, it's doing flies like this that's helped me craft a good chest. And don't always get caught in how much resistance you're using when it comes to shaping your muscles. Like, if you want to talk about strength, yeah, do heavy stuff on the strength movements. But if you're talking about shaping the muscles, you really want to feel the stretch, go light, and almost mold your body. Yeah, no real rep count on that. Really going for the feel. Like, especially on the right side, I feel like there's tightness here that's being loosened up. So all of these little things will, I guess, in my opinion, give you a better looking chest. It's not necessarily always about how much weight you use. The weight matters for overall size, but once that's in play and you want a like wider chest or something, really focus on stretching your chest out in your flies. Yeah, that's what I'm doing next. Probably gonna do another 3 to 5 sets of that. So after doing the chest and back bit, I'm going back to arms. My arms have, I guess, recovered enough from that little brief interval. So moving into some towel grip tricep extensions or skull crushers or whatever. I like the towel grip because of the forearm activation and the instability that it creates. Like, I'll show you what I mean by instability. So I'm going to do a regular tricep extension that's not slow. You see how the kettlebell kind of swings and then kind of creates that shock? And then same thing here. See, if I do a full force tricep extension, it creates instability. So what that forces me to do is contract my tricep really slow and bring it down really slow so that the kettlebell doesn't flail around. What this ends up doing is it increases the mind to muscle contraction, and you are much more consciously able to learn how elbow extension affects the different heads of the tricep, and how moving it affects, or moving your wrist and angle of your hand affects the different heads of the tricep. And then, since I also have to grip the towel, there is an added forearm element which creates this burn in your forearms, which then gives you good forearms. After about 8 to 10 each side of that, no problem. You're done? Oh. Yalla, masa. Yeah, no problem. Masalama. Moving into some towel grip curls. Yeah. Yeah. Good night. Good night. See you tomorrow. The towel grip increases forearm activation in this as well, and the same concept of instability, which forces me to recruit the bicep a lot more intentionally, and I can't just apply a lot of force willy-nilly. And this in turn creates a much better mind to muscle contraction of the bicep. And I believe that's the key for good muscle growth and good shape when it comes to shaping your muscles. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next. So after arms and that little bit of chest and back, I'm gonna do abs. So I'm gonna finish off probably with some abs, and I'll record the abs. I don't think I'll so much record the mobility. But yeah, for my abs, I'm doing... this is a bad idea. All right. That took way too long to set up. But anyway, after getting the cable strapped to my feet, letting it kind of pull my hip flexors out, and then just letting my body stretch for a second, pulling the back of the bench as the starting position, and then going to do hip flexor raises, which targets both the hip flexors and the lower abs. You'll feel a contraction all throughout the abs, but primarily in the lower abs and hip flexor area. But I'm also experiencing a lot of contraction on the sides. But yeah, gonna do maybe another 2-3 sets of that, and then yeah, let's see what happens next. For the next ab movement, I'm using the kettlebell to attack the lower abs. So I'm gonna have the kettlebell around my feet. I'm gonna have one leg on top, kind of to hold me in place and to give me support, and so that I can like focus exclusively on the lower ab on the side. So this time I'm focusing on the right lower ab. The fact that my leg has to hang off the side stretches the hip flexor a little, and the hip flexor is kind of connected to the muscles in this area, and it'll stretch that too. So you can get a really good stretch of the lower abs by doing this. And then lift the leg up, keeping the leg outstretched to maintain tension on the lower abs. And I'm feeling it right over here. Going for 8 to 10 each side. Ah. 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 Switching sides. One of the benefits of being on a bench is the ability to have your leg dangle off the side, and that's creates the ability to stretch your hip flexor out, hip flexor and lower abs out just a little bit, a little bit more than you would if you were doing this on a flat surface. Also, it helps even out any imbalances you might have when it comes to like having one side abs or whatever that are more developed or stronger. Keeping the more outstretched you keep your leg, the more tension you'll feel in your lower abs. But yeah, I'm gonna do another set of that and then move into some mobility. I don't know if I'm gonna record any of the mobility, but I will record something after this. So let's see what that is. So I guess I'm recording my mobility. So usually I do a lot of like cable good mornings, and a lot of my videos in the past have kind of focused on lower body mobility. And while I do throw in like upper body mobility, there never has been a dedicated video, and I don't think this is going to be the dedicated video. But at least as of right now, over the next couple of exercises, probably two, I'm focusing on upper body mobility, so mostly the shoulders. And the first exercise that I'm doing is a Y raise, a chest supported Y raise. So find yourself a bench, get your chest supported on the thing, and grab some really light dumbbells. Most people aren't particularly strong at this, neither am I. And so I'm just using like 5-pound dumbbells. And pretty much you want to let the dumbbell suspend, and then you want to bring it up in like a Y shape. And hold it here for a second. Come back down. I don't know. I'm going to try it with keeping my knees on the thing and see how that changes anything. No. It makes my knee slide. Never mind. But yeah, you should feel this a little bit in your shoulder and mid back. It's the trap 3. If you don't know what the trap 3 is, I guess Google trap 3 anatomy, and you'll see where the trap 3 is located. It's kind of in like the middle back. Holding it there for a second on the top. Going for 8 to 10. But yeah, that's the first movement that I'm doing. It's my third set of it. Good for shoulder mobility. But yeah, I'm probably going to do Powell Raises next. So yeah, let's skip to that. So as promised, here's a Powell Raise. So you want to set up the bench such that you can keep your body to the side and have your one arm kind of like draped around it. You're having your arm, that's the working side, like kind of suspended such that you like the muscles over here are kind of stretched out, and bring it straight up. I got this exercise from the knees over toes guys upper body mobility standards, and I don't think I meet all the standards yet. I'm slowly working towards them. But yeah, doing about 10 each side of that. Good for, I guess, the scapula, traps, and good for like keeping the shoulder blades back. Here's the reverse angle. Letting the weight come down slow, really trying to control it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of sets. So for the final mobility movement, I'm doing a quad and hip flexor stretch. Moving into what's called a couch stretch. So you need a soft surface on which you can plant your knee, and then you're going to lean forward so that the back of your cramp. Anyway, so you want to position so that the back of your leg is in contact with the wall, and then as you push forward with the front leg, you'll feel a stretch in your quad and hip flexor, and then you can also contract the back glute in order to exaggerate the stretch. And your goal is to get the shoulder to touch the wall and hold it there for as long as possible. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh. Switch legs. Six, 7, 8, 9, 10. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next.